The year is 2024. The crisp Moscow air, a stark contrast to the Burkinabe sun, held a chill that went beyond the temperature. Ibrahim Traoré, the young and determined leader of Burkina Faso, stepped onto Russian soil, his arrival marking the commencement of a summit of immense strategic importance. This was not merely a diplomatic visit. It was a pivotal moment in Burkina Faso's history, a gamble on a future shaped by carefully forged alliances. The nation, grappling with internal challenges and external pressures, stood at a crossroads, seeking to redefine its position on the global stage. Traoré's mission was clear: to secure partnerships that would bolster Burkina Faso's economic stability and enhance its national security. The potential benefits extended far beyond the borders of his nation. Success in Moscow could serve as a powerful example for other African nations, demonstrating the viability of forging mutually beneficial relationships with major global powers, a testament to the growing influence of African diplomacy on the world stage. Failure, however, could have far-reaching consequences, undermining Burkina Faso's fragile progress and potentially setting a dangerous precedent for future African engagements with international powers. The weight of these implications rested heavily on Traoré's young shoulders as he navigated the intricate political landscape of the Russian capital. His journey, however, was far from the smooth diplomatic process he had anticipated. Little did he know that the seemingly cordial welcome concealed a web of intrigue and espionage, a dangerous game of shadows that would test his leadership and resilience to their limits. This Moscow summit, intended to forge alliances, was about to become a battleground for survival. The stakes were high, not only for Burkina Faso, but for the future of African diplomacy itself. This is the story of how one man's courage and strategic thinking would change the course of his nation's destiny. President Traoré's objectives in Moscow were multifaceted, reflecting the complex challenges facing Burkina Faso. His primary goal was to secure substantial economic aid, focusing on infrastructure development and bolstering the nation's agricultural sector. Years of instability had left Burkina Faso's infrastructure in disrepair, hindering economic growth and impacting the daily lives of its citizens. Investing in roads, energy, and communication networks was paramount to fostering sustainable development. Furthermore, strengthening the agricultural sector was crucial for food security and economic diversification, reducing reliance on volatile global markets. Beyond economic aid, Traoré sought strategic military cooperation. Burkina Faso faced ongoing security threats, necessitating enhanced defense capabilities. He aimed to negotiate agreements for training, equipment, and intelligence sharing, bolstering the nation's ability to protect its sovereignty and combat internal and external threats. This collaboration, however, presented a delicate balance. While strengthening national security was vital, Traoré was acutely aware of the potential risks associated with aligning too closely with any single global power. The geopolitical landscape was fraught with complexities. Russia's growing influence in Africa presented both opportunities and potential pitfalls. While Russian assistance could address Burkina Faso's immediate needs, Traoré was conscious of the need to maintain balanced relations with other international partners, avoiding undue dependence on any one nation. The potential benefits were considerable: access to resources, technology, and markets, but the risks of compromising national independence and sovereignty were equally significant. His visit, therefore, demanded a delicate balancing act, requiring shrewd diplomacy and a keen understanding of the geopolitical forces at play. The success of his mission hinged on his ability to navigate this intricate terrain, securing beneficial alliances while safeguarding Burkina Faso's national interests. From the moment his plane touched down on Moscow's tarmac, President Traoré sensed a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The official welcome, while outwardly cordial, felt strangely guarded. The smiles of the welcoming committee seemed practiced, the handshakes a touch too firm, the eyes a little too keen. He attributed it initially to the inherent formality of such occasions, but a growing unease settled within him as he was whisked away to his accommodation. The route taken to his hotel was circuitous, seemingly designed to avoid direct lines of sight. He noticed vehicles subtly changing position, their occupants occasionally glancing towards his convoy. These were not the casual observations of a tourist. They were the calculated movements of professionals. The hotel itself, a grand edifice of Soviet-era architecture, seemed to hum with an almost palpable tension. The staff were attentive, bordering on intrusive, their eyes constantly scanning the hallways and lobbies. Even the seemingly innocuous details, the strategically placed security cameras, the ever-present security personnel, felt orchestrated, meticulously planned. During his first evening, a seemingly minor incident further heightened his suspicion. A seemingly accidental bump in a crowded lobby led to a brief but intense exchange of glances between one of his security detail and a man who appeared to be a civilian, yet carried himself with the unmistakable bearing of an intelligence operative. The fleeting moment was enough to plant a seed of doubt. Was this a simple coincidence or a subtle warning? The lines between official protocol and covert operations seemed increasingly blurred. The city, a labyrinth of imposing buildings and shadowy alleyways, felt less like a diplomatic venue and more like a stage for a carefully choreographed game of espionage. Traoré understood he was being watched, and that this was far more than a simple state visit. The subtle signs, though initially dismissed, now painted a clear picture of an environment fraught with danger and hidden agendas. The unraveling began subtly, with a series of seemingly insignificant anomalies. A misplaced document, a strangely timed phone call, a hesitant response from a member of his security detail. Each incident, individually inconsequential, collectively painted a disturbing picture. Traoré, ever vigilant, began to piece together the fragments, his suspicions solidifying into a chilling realization. His security detail had been compromised. Foreign agents, embedded within his closest circle of protection, were actively working against him. The evidence emerged gradually, a slow drip of betrayal that eroded his trust. Discreet surveillance was confirmed through intercepted communications, revealing coded messages exchanged between his security personnel and unknown individuals. Technical analysis of his personal communications revealed attempts at unauthorized access, indicating sophisticated surveillance technologies deployed against him. The betrayal was a profound shock, a violation of the utmost confidence. It was not merely a breach of security. It was a calculated act of sabotage aimed at undermining his mission and potentially endangering his life. The identification of the infiltrators was a delicate process, requiring a combination of careful observation, technological analysis, and discreet investigations. Each member of his security detail was meticulously scrutinized, their backgrounds and past activities thoroughly investigated. The revelation was devastating. Several individuals within his trusted inner circle had been compromised, their loyalty bought or coerced. The threat was immediate and severe. Not only was his mission jeopardized, but his personal safety was now seriously at risk. The weight of this betrayal was immense, a stark reminder of the treacherous world of international politics and the lengths to which certain actors would go to achieve their objectives. The discovery served as a stark wake-up call, a turning point that would redefine Traoré's approach to the Moscow summit and his leadership back home. Uncovering the identities of the moles proved a complex undertaking, requiring a delicate balance between swift action and maintaining operational secrecy. Initial investigations suggested a network spanning multiple countries, hinting at a sophisticated operation with deep roots. The agents' motivations, while still partially shrouded in mystery, seemed to converge on a single objective: to sabotage Traoré's negotiations with Russia. Several possibilities emerged. One theory pointed towards a rival African nation seeking to undermine Burkina Faso's growing influence on the continent. Another suggested the involvement of a Western power anxious to prevent closer ties between Burkina Faso and Russia. The potential consequences of undetected infiltration were catastrophic. Had Traoré remained unaware, The compromised agents could have easily manipulated the negotiations, influencing agreements to the detriment of Burkina Faso. The economic and military aid, so crucial for the nation's development and security, could have been significantly reduced or channeled through unfavorable terms, leaving the country vulnerable and indebted. Worse still, the compromised security detail could have exposed Traoré to direct physical danger, potentially leading to an assassination attempt or a kidnapping, plunging Burkina Faso into further instability and chaos. The stakes were undeniably high, highlighting the extreme risks inherent in high-level international diplomacy and the crucial need for robust security measures. The revelations served as a chilling reminder of the hidden currents that flow beneath the surface of international relations, a world where trust is a fragile commodity and betrayal can have devastating consequences. Just as President Traoré felt the weight of isolation and betrayal, an unexpected lifeline appeared in the form of Lieutenant Sergei Ivanov, a young officer within the Russian intelligence services. Ivanov's actions were a calculated risk, a deviation from protocol that could have severe consequences for his own career, if not his safety. His intervention was not a matter of blind loyalty or impulsive heroism. It was a strategic decision born from a complex understanding of geopolitical realities. Ivanov, disillusioned by the machinations of certain factions within his own government, saw in Traoré a leader committed to the genuine betterment of his nation, a quality increasingly rare in the often cynical world of international relations. The meeting between Traoré and Ivanov was clandestine, a brief encounter shrouded in secrecy. Under the guise of a seemingly chance encounter, Ivanov delivered a stark warning. Foreign agents were embedded within Traoré's security detail, working to undermine his negotiations and potentially endanger his life. The information was precise, revealing details only an insider could know, confirming Traoré's own suspicions and providing crucial insights into the nature and scope of the conspiracy. Ivanov's warning was not merely a selfless act. It was a calculated gamble, a strategic maneuver to counterbalance the influence of rival factions within the Russian government. By assisting Traoré, Ivanov aimed to subtly shift the balance of power, ensuring a more equitable partnership between Burkina Faso and Russia, a partnership free from the insidious influence of foreign agents. The risk Ivanov took was immense, but the potential rewards, a genuine alliance based on mutual respect and shared interests, were equally significant. His intervention served as a pivotal moment in the unfolding events, altering the trajectory of the Moscow summit and significantly impacting the future of Burkina Faso. Armed with Ivanov's intelligence, Traoré initiated a daring counteroffensive, a strategic maneuver designed to expose and neutralize his adversaries. His response was not one of impulsive reaction, but a calculated series of moves, each carefully planned to maximize impact while minimizing risk. He began by subtly altering his negotiating strategy, subtly introducing elements that would expose the agent's true intentions. This involved carefully crafted proposals, deliberately designed to elicit specific reactions from the compromised individuals. His calm demeanor, unwavering composure, and astute observation skills allowed him to identify subtle shifts in behavior, confirming his suspicions. The next phase involved a carefully orchestrated series of controlled leaks, strategically releasing disinformation to confuse and mislead the foreign agents and their handlers. This created a fog of uncertainty, forcing the agents to react impulsively, revealing their true allegiances and operational methods. Simultaneously, Traoré discreetly alerted the appropriate Russian authorities, selectively providing information to those he deemed trustworthy, individuals who were aligned with Ivanov's perspective. This ensured that his counteroffensive received the necessary support within the Russian system, while avoiding entanglement with potentially hostile factions. The culmination of Traoré's strategy was a masterclass in diplomatic maneuvering. By skillfully using the information gained from Ivanov and his own meticulous observations, he was able to expose the agent's manipulations during a crucial negotiation session. The evidence was undeniable, forcing the adversaries into a defensive position, effectively neutralizing their ability to influence the outcome. Traoré's decisive actions not only protected Burkina Faso's interests but also sent a powerful message. Underestimating the resolve and intelligence of African leadership could have severe repercussions. His actions demonstrated a keen understanding of both international relations and the intricacies of espionage, showcasing his exceptional leadership and strategic acumen. Traoré's exposure of the infiltration network was a meticulously planned operation, a testament to his strategic thinking and decisive leadership. He leveraged the intelligence provided by Lieutenant Ivanov, supplementing it with information gleaned from his own discreet sources within Burkina Faso's intelligence community. This multi-layered approach allowed him to build a comprehensive understanding of the network structure, identifying key players and their respective roles. His first step involved subtly altering his communication patterns. He initiated seemingly innocuous conversations with suspected agents, using carefully crafted language designed to elicit revealing responses. These conversations, seemingly casual, were in fact carefully orchestrated probes, designed to uncover inconsistencies and expose the agent's true loyalties. He meticulously documented these exchanges, noting subtle shifts in body language and verbal cues, creating a compelling body of evidence. Simultaneously, Traoré initiated a series of carefully planned leaks. Information, seemingly insignificant on the surface, was strategically released to specific individuals within the Russian security apparatus, individuals known to be sympathetic to his cause. This carefully calibrated release of information created a ripple effect, prompting internal investigations and forcing the agents to react, thereby revealing their positions and operational methods. This strategic use of disinformation created a climate of suspicion and uncertainty, disrupting the network's operations and forcing them to expend valuable resources on damage control. The culmination of Traoré's efforts involved a public confrontation, a carefully orchestrated event where he publicly exposed the agents' activities, presenting irrefutable evidence of their sabotage attempts. This bold move not only neutralized the immediate threat, but also served as a powerful deterrent to future attempts at interference. The exposure of the network demonstrated Traoré's unwavering commitment to protecting Burkina Faso's interests, highlighting his leadership qualities and strategic acumen on the global stage. The exposure of the espionage network dramatically altered the dynamics of Traoré's negotiations with Russia. The initial atmosphere of cautious optimism was replaced by a newfound clarity and firmness of purpose. Traoré, having skillfully exposed the attempts to manipulate the negotiations, now held a powerful position. He could no longer be dismissed as a naive newcomer to the world of international diplomacy. His actions had demonstrated his strategic prowess and his unwavering commitment to protecting his nation's interests. The renegotiations that followed were conducted on a completely different footing. Traoré, armed with irrefutable evidence of foreign interference, demanded greater transparency and accountability from the Russian government. He insisted on stricter safeguards to prevent future attempts at manipulation, demanding reassurances that the partnership would be built on mutual respect and genuine cooperation, not on clandestine agendas. The terms of the partnership were renegotiated to reflect these new realities, with a greater emphasis on Burkina Faso's sovereignty and autonomy. Russia, facing international scrutiny and the potential for further exposure, was forced to concede several key points. This incident underscored the importance of vigilance and preparedness in international relations. The renegotiated partnership was not merely a transactional agreement. It was a testament to Traoré's ability to navigate treacherous geopolitical waters. It represented a significant shift in the power dynamics, establishing Burkina Faso as a resolute partner, commanding respect and demanding transparency. The experience served as a stark reminder that true alliances are built on mutual trust and a shared commitment to transparency, not on subterfuge and manipulation. The future collaborations between Burkina Faso and Russia were now firmly grounded in these principles. The Moscow incident served as a stark wake-up call, prompting President Traoré to implement sweeping reforms within Burkina Faso's security apparatus. Recognizing the vulnerabilities exposed during his visit, he initiated a comprehensive overhaul of the nation's intelligence gathering capabilities and security protocols. This involved a significant investment in advanced surveillance technology, enhancing the country's ability to detect and prevent future infiltration attempts. New systems were put in place to monitor communications and identify potential threats, both domestically and internationally. Personnel changes were equally significant. A thorough vetting process was implemented for all security personnel, focusing on loyalty and trustworthiness. Extensive background checks, polygraph tests, and psychological evaluations were introduced to ensure the integrity of the security detail surrounding President Traoré and other key government officials. Furthermore, training programs were implemented to enhance the skills and expertise of existing personnel, focusing on counterintelligence techniques and advanced security protocols. Beyond technology and personnel, Traoré also implemented structural changes within the intelligence community. New departments were created to focus specifically on counterintelligence and cybersecurity, enhancing Burkina Faso's ability to detect and respond to sophisticated threats. Improved interagency cooperation was established, facilitating the seamless exchange of information and intelligence between various security agencies. The reforms also included a renewed emphasis on intelligence analysis, ensuring that raw data was effectively processed and used to inform strategic decision-making. These comprehensive changes transformed Burkina Faso's security posture, creating a more resilient and robust defense against future threats. The Moscow incident significantly impacted Burkina Faso's standing on the international stage, prompting a reassessment of its relationships with various nations. While the initial focus was on the relationship with Russia, the incident also highlighted vulnerabilities in Burkina Faso's international partnerships and spurred a review of its foreign policy strategies. The exposure of the multinational espionage network underscored the complex and often unpredictable nature of international relations. Burkina Faso's proactive response, however, garnered significant international attention and respect. Traoré's decisive actions in exposing the network and renegotiating the terms of partnership with Russia demonstrated a strong leadership and a commitment to national sovereignty. This strengthened Burkina Faso's position within the African Union, where it emerged as a model for assertive diplomacy and strategic defense against external interference. The incident underscored the importance of vigilance and preparedness, prompting other African nations to reevaluate their own security protocols and international partnerships. The incident also led to a reevaluation of alliances. Burkina Faso sought to strengthen ties with nations that shared its commitment to transparency and mutual respect, forging new alliances based on shared values and strategic interests. This resulted in increased cooperation on security and intelligence matters, enhancing Burkina Faso's ability to detect and deter future threats. The country's proactive approach to addressing the situation earned it international recognition, reinforcing its position as a key player in African diplomacy and a vocal advocate for greater transparency and accountability in international relations. The incident served as a valuable learning experience, transforming Burkina Faso's foreign policy and strengthening its resilience in the face of global challenges. The events in Moscow serve as a stark reminder of the ongoing challenges African nations face in safeguarding their sovereignty within a complex and often unpredictable global landscape. The attempt to manipulate Burkina Faso's negotiations highlighted the persistent vulnerabilities inherent in forging partnerships with powerful nations. The incident underscores the crucial need for African nations to develop robust internal security mechanisms and to cultivate a culture of vigilance and strategic awareness. The incident transcended the specific circumstances of Burkina Faso, offering valuable lessons for the entire continent. It highlighted the constant pressure exerted on African nations to compromise their sovereignty in pursuit of economic or political gains. The subtle yet pervasive nature of foreign interference, often masked as cooperation or aid, poses a significant threat to African autonomy and self-determination. Navigating the intricate web of international relations requires a delicate balance. African nations must leverage international partnerships to advance their development goals, while simultaneously safeguarding their national interests and protecting their sovereignty. This necessitates a clear understanding of the geopolitical landscape, coupled with the ability to identify and mitigate potential threats. The experience of President Traoré serves as a powerful case study, illustrating the importance of strategic foresight, decisive action, and unwavering commitment to national independence. The incident underscores the need for a collective approach, with African nations collaborating to enhance their collective security and to promote a more equitable and just international order. Only through unified action can African nations effectively protect their sovereignty and shape their own destinies. The Moscow encounter provided invaluable lessons for African leaders navigating the complexities of international relations. The incident underscored the critical need for thorough due diligence in all international engagements, emphasizing the importance of proactive risk assessment and the development of robust counterintelligence capabilities. Building trust and fostering genuine partnerships require transparency and mutual respect, while maintaining a healthy skepticism towards seemingly advantageous offers that might compromise national sovereignty. For African leaders, the incident highlighted the necessity of investing in advanced technology and training for security personnel. This includes not only enhancing surveillance and communication systems, but also focusing on specialized training in counterintelligence, cybersecurity, and deception detection. Furthermore, fostering a culture of vigilance within government institutions is paramount, promoting an environment where potential threats are identified and addressed swiftly and decisively. Strengthening internal security measures is only one aspect of the solution. African leaders must also cultivate strong diplomatic relationships built on mutual trust and shared values. This involves fostering alliances with nations that prioritize transparency and respect for sovereignty, thereby creating a network of support to counter external threats. Collaboration among African nations is essential, sharing intelligence, best practices, and resources to collectively enhance security and resilience against foreign interference. The incident in Moscow serves as a powerful testament to the importance of preparedness, strategic foresight, and unwavering commitment to safeguarding national interests. It is a call to action for African leaders to adopt a proactive approach to security, diplomacy, and international engagement. President Traoré's experience in Moscow serves as a pivotal case study in the challenges and opportunities facing African leaders in the 21st century. The narrative underscores the critical importance of vigilance in international relations, highlighting the need for robust internal security systems and a proactive approach to identifying and mitigating potential threats. The incident revealed the often hidden complexities of international diplomacy, where seemingly benign partnerships can mask underlying agendas that threaten national sovereignty. The successful navigation of this crisis by President Traoré demonstrates the vital role of strategic partnerships built on mutual respect and transparency. The cultivation of strong alliances with like-minded nations is crucial for African countries seeking to protect their interests and promote their development agendas without compromising their autonomy. The incident underscores the need for a collective approach, with African nations working together to enhance their security capabilities and share intelligence to counter external threats more effectively. The unwavering pursuit of national sovereignty remains paramount. The willingness to engage in international collaborations should never come at the expense of a nation's self-determination. The narrative concludes with a powerful message. The future of African nations lies in a commitment to proactive security measures, strong diplomatic partnerships, and an unwavering dedication to safeguarding their sovereignty. Only through vigilance, strategic alliances, and a steadfast commitment to national interests can African nations secure their futures and shape their own destinies on the global stage. The lessons learned in Moscow serve as a crucial blueprint for navigating the intricate landscape of international relations and ensuring a secure and prosperous future for the continent. The events surrounding President Traoré's visit to Moscow serve as a stark reminder of the challenges facing African nations in the current geopolitical landscape. The narrative underscores the urgent need for a paradigm shift in how African nations approach international relations and safeguard their collective interests. The time for isolated action is over. The future demands a unified front, characterized by enhanced collaboration and intelligence sharing. The establishment of a robust Pan-African intelligence network is crucial. This network should facilitate the seamless exchange of information, allowing African nations to identify and counter emerging threats more effectively. Such collaboration would not only enhance security, but also foster a stronger sense of collective security and shared responsibility. Furthermore, the development of joint training programs and the sharing of best practices in cybersecurity and counterintelligence would significantly enhance the capabilities of individual nations. Beyond intelligence sharing, a coordinated diplomatic approach is essential. African nations must present a unified voice on the global stage, advocating for their collective interests and pushing for a more equitable international order. This requires a concerted effort to harmonize foreign policy objectives and to present a united front in international forums. The collective strength of African nations, when harnessed effectively, can serve as a powerful force for positive change in the global arena. The lessons learned from the Moscow incident must serve as a catalyst for transformative action, propelling African nations towards a future where their collective interests and sovereignty are protected, not threatened. The time for decisive action is now.